Thank you, sir. Now we proceed to the third session on achieving convergence and collusivity in MDO. The session will assess the requirement of building joint structures to fight joint wars in multiple domains and the integration and convergence of force structures leading to creation of theatre commands. It will also focus on the challenges faced by the joint force in integration. The session is chaired by Lieutenant General Arun Kumar Sahani, PVSM, UISM, SM, VSM, retired. General Sahani, superannuated as Army Commander of Southwestern Army Command. The General has operational experience in some of the most inhospitable and conflict-affected areas in the country. He was Assistant Military Attaché in Russia and is presently mentoring startups and new initiatives that are in the domain of information security and HR management. He is currently Distinguished Fellow at CLAWS. The first speaker for the session is Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, PVSM, YSM, SM, ADC, GOC&C R-Track. General Shukla commanded a medium regiment in the Eastern and Desert Theatres, an infantry brigade in counterinsurgency operations, an infantry division along the line of control in the valley, and a pivot corps along the western borders. He has been the commandant of the Indian Army's prestigious training establishment and think tank, the Army War College. He is presently Army Commander R-Track. He has authored numerous articles and lectured and participated in various seminars in India and abroad. General Shukla will be delivering a talk on theaterization, way ahead in achieving convergence. The second speaker is Lieutenant General Ranbir Singh, PVSM, AVSM and BAR, YSM, SM retired. General Ranbir Singh superannuated as Army Commander Northern Command. The General commanded a mountain brigade, armored division and a strike corps. As the DGMO, he planned the surgical strikes in 2016. He is an expert on counterinsurgency operations, operational art, and information operations. He is currently a Distinguished Fellow at CLAWS. General Singh will be delivering on cohesion through convergence of joint force in MDO. The third speaker is Colonel Daniel Roper, retired. He joins us from US. Colonel Daniel S. Roper, an artillery officer, served as an instructor in the School of Advanced Military Studies and on the Joint Staff as a politico-military planner. He focused on transnational security challenges and national military strategy. In Op Iraqi Freedom, he was the Chief of Operations and Intelligence in the Coalition Joint Forces Land Component Command Deep Operations Cell. Presently, he is the Director, National Security Studies Association of the US Army. He has authored articles on nuclear issues, cohesion operations, leadership, history, emerging technology, energy issues, counterinsurgency, and terrorism. Colonel Roper will be speaking to us on capability challenges in integration of a joint force and political hurdles in implementing MDO. With this, I invite the chair to take over the proceedings of the session. Over to you, sir. Two slides, sir.
Respected Director CLAWS, the August senior officers in the audience, those on the virtual domain as well, colleagues who are present here today. Firstly, a big thank you to all of you for having stayed on after lunch, because that's the most difficult time of the year and time of the day to be able to discuss and look at serious issues. But I can see that there's a large attendance for that. As was said by the compare, the focus of this present session is to look at achieving convergence and collusivity in the multi-domain operations. So to just set the stage for the discussion ahead, I would just like to highlight, which is something which is known to all, that multi-domain battle in its true term has actually been utilized and discussed and debated extensively by the leading nations, whether it's on the Western front, the Western developing nations, or whether it's Russia or it is China. There's a lot that is written, a lot that is debated. But I think when we have to look at the essence of what they are discussing and what they are saying, it is very important for us to understand where and how is this whole concept being visualized by them. As you're aware, in the case of United States of America, there is a spatial dislocation of the battle space where it desires to manifest its complete combat power at a desired point by breaching the adversary's integrated defensive capabilities. So the aim is that in all domains, there should be his domination for the complete duration of the operations. Whereas to counter this kind of a strategy, we are seeing, I'll just take the case of China, his anti-satellite and anti-access air defense, or the anti-access A2AD strategy that he has adopted, is hitting at the crux of the functioning of the multi-domain operations. The ASAT gives you the capability to hit out on the information sourcing or the ISR capabilities of the enemy so that you deny him that decisive edge, which is a requirement for multi-domain operations. And the second aspect is with his A2AD is to try and split the domains, what we try to do in maneuver warfare as far as we are concerned by having artificial obstacles to separate the armor from the infantry. Here it is separating the domains of the air and the land so that it can tackle them sequentially. So the answer for us, all of us sitting here today, is to be very sure to see what are the takeaways from this kind of a scenario with respect to India's requirements of the contours of a multi-domain operation. We must be very clear and careful that today there is a uniqueness in the adversaries that we have. They have different kind of capabilities, but the issue, as has been stated for this session, is collusivity. So the collusivity empowers the adversary to utilize the complete spectrum domain for being able to wage and achieve success in any of his endeavors. And I think our problem is also the varied terrain, our reliance on experiential leadership to carry out ground operations. The technological advanced tools are not available as you would desire them to be, because capability development is a challenge because you do not control the vectors and the challenges that are linked to getting the right wherewithal for achieving this kind of ISR capability or an awareness for conduct of multi-domain operation. However, we have to also be conscious at the same time that there is a tectonic shift in the character of war. I mean, with all the terms that have been used from the morning, whether it is AI, whether it is hypersonic capabilities, the cyber domain, the disruptive domains, the EW spectrum, I think what this requires is that we must take out the right nuances to see how we can harness the power of the asymmetric dimensions while we are carrying out our job of theaterization and integrated theater commands. Because somewhere down the line, I think I will not debate it, but I think integrated theater commands seems to have become fundamental for us to be able to look in a fast, rapidly changing battlefield, which requires decision making at a very, very speedy time. So there is thus a need for us to develop realistic strategies and concepts to guide convergence and integration of capabilities across land, sea, air, space, cyber, and the EM spectrum. Then where is the problem? I think that's the biggest issue. I think the criticality is the differing frameworks, cultures, and mindset of each service. And the shroud of grayness as far as we are concerned with respect to the new disruptive domains. I think this has been alluded to by quite a few speakers during the conduct of this seminar. The Army's battlefield framework and our command and control is geographically focused and employed in multiple echelons. It is anchored on the physical presence of the enemy and your own forces. And whereas the Air Force is focused more on functions conducted by these two elements, the friendly forces and the enemy. So it is across geographic boundaries. Therefore, these functions are centralized and planned within the single echelon of an air operations center. And as you're all aware, for our Western Front, we have the Western Air Command, which looks at the cat's paw, which looks at coordinating this right across the theater. So this is the challenge for them. Whereas the Army has a multi-echelon framework where we give resources to different levels of command based on a span of control and the close combat battle that he is envisaged to execute at the tactical level. This job in a single echelon framework is done by the Air Force in a central manner. So this is where the frameworks of the two of ours is a little requires to be synergized before we can actually move into a multi-domain operations. And I think when we look at the Navy, it's a combination of the two. An extended battle space influenced by extra-regional forces, but it requires a centralized C2. So there's a different challenge. Whereas when we come to the cyberspace and the EW spectrum, then you're again seeing that, like the Air Force, they are focused on the functions of the people who are there and not on the geographical boundaries of these. So this is the framework changes that we have for all 5 or 6 domains that we see. And these will have to be synergized if we want to see that there is convergence and there is unanimity in the capability to fight in a contested, degraded, and as they say, an operationally limited environment. Victory in future combat will be determined by how successfully commanders can understand, visualize, and describe this to their subordinate commanders. How quickly can these resources be pooled in to achieve the concentration at the desired point? And for this, I think convergence is an essential requirement, be it in concepts, policy, or at the tactical employability. I will end before I hand over to the speakers. Just 3 quick recommendations. I think the last speaker did allude to it, General Sharma, talking about having multi-domain task forces. I think somewhere down the line, to understand the contours of these gray parameters that we are talking about of disruptive technology, there is a need for us to create a multi-domain task force. We did that in our nuclear systems many years back. It did have certain advantages. Maybe this is an area to go so that we can try and give some shape to this gray animal, which we cannot really talk about in the intangible domain. And I think for this, joint effect will have to be specified. What is the effect you desire? What is that force to be constituted of? And why I'm mentioning this is, I did read in the articles that are floating in the net, is that the current chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff of America, General Miley, when he was the last chief of land forces, created a 1,500 strong force which looked and carried out training. And his case, again, as it was attributed, was the fact that he felt that the CIA involvement in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the West Asia has actually had a detrimental impact on the capability of the land forces, who are the weakest link in this MDO. So I think when we look at it and take necessary lessons from that particular thing, I think we need to be a little conscious of the way we've been subsumed in the proxy wars and the kind of internal struggles, and see how we can now transgress to this particular level of capability. Second aspect that I would like to say is, which has come out in a lot of discussions, please focus on the HR policies. Any theaterization will only be successful if the individual aspirations of the individuals are satisfied and harmonized with that of the organization. So HR policies need to be done now so that you have the step required for the integrated. You can't have an Army Act, an Air Force Act, and a Naval Act being applied. Then you can't have different yardsticks of status and seniority of services and arms and services when you have this joint thing. Something will have to be sorted out, otherwise you will not see it go to work. And as was alluded by some, it might just fall by the wayside a few years down the line, and then we'll be sort of unraveling the whole maze. And the last thing I feel is that with these changing of theater commands, with the role and task of CDS changing into maybe a quasi-operational role in due course of time, it's going to be up the escalatory continuum. You would require that capability development become the mandate of the 3 service chiefs. That means you have a say in the kind of directional changes on technology, on the kind of changes that you're looking in the capability development, which is being done by the public sector and the DPSUs. Well, by flagging that, may I straight away just say, invite Lieutenant General Raj Shukla to please come and share his views on the subject of theaterization, way ahead of achieving convergence. There are 2 questions that have been flagged for you, sir. Brief assessment of the existing threat perception